So what did you want to do, Nate? You wanted to, when he gets here, we'll just dive straight in and then we'll record our waffle afterwards. I mean, I don't know why you call it waffle. I mean, it's highly crafted, carefully worded intros and
it is.
And banter. There's no waffle here.
Our intros are well thought out, pre-planned, and artfully crafted.
With no,
I like waffles.
I don't know why anyone would say otherwise.
No,
I like
included.
waffles. I like waffles.
I like waffles. Let's go get waffles.
Waffles or pancakes? Where do you boys stand?
I actually prefer French toast.
Oh, I'm with you on that one. That is a treat.
And the irony is that you Americans do French toast better than the French do.
Really?
Yeah. Well, because you don't do it like properly. You just make it into this delicious thing that's packed full of sugar and...
Oh, it's Texas toast with eggs and butter and cinnamon and
a little bit of milk or some sort of milk product
or something.
It's not French toast, but sure.
I mean, the next best thing is basically a thick slab of funnel cake from the fair.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much what that is.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I mean, I've always said I've been coming to America for about 25 years now, and you do breakfast better than anyone else.
Damn right we do.
Damn
Bacon,
right.
pancakes, maple syrup, eggs.
Biscuits.
We call those scones, by the way, biscuits. They're basically scones in England.
Whatever. They're biscuits.
I'll eat some baked beans for breakfast if it includes barbecue. That's when beans is okay with barbecue and eggs.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys are doing with beans.
Why you guys have beans for breakfast? Like that does not sound
baked beans,
good.
bacon, sausage, egg, tomatoes, mushrooms. Yeah, proper breakfast. Keep you going for the day.
Proper. It's proper breakfast.
That's a dinner, man.
Proper breakfast. Yeah.
Actually,
we've done
in America, we call things French when we don't have another word for it because it's like we're using a French technique and we don't want to say the French technique, so we call it French. like French fries are not actually French because they're julienne cut. We just didn't want to say julienne fries or julienne.
Nice.
So
right.
we got French fries. It's a French cut.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a brilliant post the other day. It was actually Tom Holland, the actor, and he made a comment that America doesn't have any food of its own. It's just taken food from the rest of the world.
Oh yeah, I know.
And he said, and they said, well, what about hamburgers? He's like, no, they come from Hamburg in Germany. That's why they're called hamburgers. And they're like, and this interviewer went, well, what about French fries?
We make it better.
And he just looked at them like,
really? It's in the name.
Steak frites.
Yeah. I think we've got that. But there we go. So for the intro this week, we've done food chat. Welcome, everybody.
All right.
Welcome to our new food blog, our side channel of Sound Discussion, where we talk about food.
Hi, and welcome to Sound Discussion. Each episode, we discuss a music topic which we have all had first-hand experience with. These will be anything from getting started, recording, playing live, mixing, mastering, and everything in between. Most episodes, we will have a special guest to bring their professional experience to the discussion. So, let's get started.
This week's guest is a composer who's not only pushing boundaries in game audio, he's helping redefine what it means to tell a story through music. You've probably played games without realizing you were hearing his work. But he wants you to notice. Because in his world, music doesn't just sit in the background. It breathes, it reacts, and it evolves with the player. With a catalog that spans action, puzzle, and narrative-driven games, he's scored everything from indie titles to award-winning projects. He's spoken at GDC, PAX, and MagFest, and even picked up 2 Nick's Gold Awards for Best Game Music for his work on the Aground video game series. And whether he's crafting adaptive soundtracks or diving deep into the emotional arc of a scene, his goal is simple: make you feel something, even if you can't quite explain what it is. So, this month's episode features our guest, Chase Bethea. Chase, welcome.
Thank you so much.
I made it!
We made it!
What the audience didn't hear is the 30 different takes that it took to read that damn intro because my brain is not connected to my mouth today.
10 minutes of our lives we're not getting back.
No. So let's not waste any more time.
No, let's crack on. How you doing, Chase?
Welcome. How you doing?
Thank you, Neil, Nate, Ben. Thank you so much for doing all right. It's just a lovely Tuesday out here. So, how you gents doing?
Yeah,
well, I'm
good.
Not doing that great, as everyone can know. But
Nate's struggling.
I hope everyone else is doing all right.
So, what part of the world are you in?
I'm in Meteor City. That would be in Las Vegas.
You're in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I call it Meteor City. It's a bit of an anime reference for those who may or may not watch it, but it's in a certain anime. There's a desert, and this desert is known for just not being like the best. It's a bunch of trash, but some really powerful people come from this desert, and then it's called Meteor City, and so I just kind of attribute it to that because it's a desert. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hot, and being a desert, I'd imagine at this time of year, hot. So there's our weather chat for this week, guys.
Yes. Yeah, it is 103 today.
Oh.
Oh.
That's quite warm.
Yeah, that's warm. Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, that's hot. Cool.
Yeah.
Dang.
So look, it's great to have you here. We know you're a bit time precious today, which is absolutely no problem. It's probably good for us to actually try and keep things on track.
We tend to ramble.
We tend to ramble. So tell us a bit about you. What's your sort of music background? How did you get into music?
Sure. So typically the story goes is that I was mostly introduced to music at a young age, and my mom was a singer and an actress. And my father, he's like more of like a music connoisseur, but I've kind of just been around music all my life. Professionally, it started when I was at uni, community college mostly. And just before that, though, it was doing music in my somewhat early adolescence, like 8 to 9. My dad gave me an alto saxophone. Before then, I had like maracas and native flutes, which I use on some of my compositions to this day that my mom had bought me. And so just kind of been around. It was first year alto saxophone from 5th to 7th grade. I was also in choir at the time. Then when I was away from music for several years, went back to uni, studied music theory all over again because I forgot a lot of stuff. And then by this time I'm in uni, I'm thinking I'm actually on the trajectory to become a video game composer, and told myself that I would be working in the industry before I continued on to transferring to the other uni. And did it. In fact, it was actually nominated by the time I transferred. So said it out loud and it happened.
Amazing. Yeah.
Manifest your own destiny. I like that.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Awesome.
So was it always game audio that sort of really interested you then from a young age? Was that?
Interestingly enough, I always say this is that if I had learned about the book that I bought, The Complete Guide to Game Audio by Aaron Mark, 2nd edition, if I got the 1st edition, I probably would have been way further along in my career by many years. But nothing happens before its time. So I was writing music on the Game Boy camera. So that's kind of where it was a bit. And then I had a lot of games growing up. So most people get an instrument around the age of 6. I was playing N64 and PlayStation and Sega Genesis and Jaguar and all that stuff. And even my first game console I hooked up was the Intellivision because my grandmother thought it was a fax machine. But when you look at the back of a box and you're growing up, you're thinking, I'm not quite convinced this is a fax machine. I don't care how old it looks. It's got pictures on it. Those don't send much at that time. So mostly just playing a lot of games in my early childhood. I think I've discovered the sound quite early and haven't been able to enact certain sound tests from Tomb Raider 1996 on the PlayStation to Final Fantasy Legend 2 on Game Boy, or it's known as Japan as Saga 2.
Wow. Yeah, it's I mean, when I was a kid playing computer games, I know that's a long time ago, guys. They were still in color. It's just the sort of thing that the music and the audio was just part of the game, but it was not something that I ever sort of hooked onto as somebody's written this piece of music. I know that sounds stupid because clearly somebody wrote the piece of music, but I just played the games at that sort of age, and I was Whereas you've obviously from pretty early on been thought, hey, how does the audio work on it? What's the music part of this?
Not really. It really didn't click with me until I was playing God of War 3 and I unlocked this video by playing the hell out of the game, and then it opened up this interview about the composers, and then one of the composers, who's actually a friend of mine now, in the most craziest way, but when I saw that video, he was saying video games is a place where you can kind of just be free. You can do any style you want. And that's what I was really looking for. And then I was been doing music for many years at that time, but it wasn't really breaking through in the genre I was trying to go forward in. And it clicked. I was thinking, wait, I love music. I've been playing games all my life. You can do this for real professionally? And I just took off. That was it.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
What is the format when you go to compose a piece of music for a video game? Is it like, I'm just going to write this really long piece of music and that's the character running around? Or do you write for certain set pieces within a video game? Or
that's a good question.
So typically I'm given a game design document, and this outlines what the narrative would be, the scope of what the game, everything that's supposed to be, the direction for the art, the programming mechanics that are going to be featured, and that's the foundation of mostly what the game is going to be like in the project. So if it's past that, then it's typically like a prototype or a vertical slice. And if I have that, I'm able to kind of hear what I think the game will be because I'm already playing it, and it's formulating in my mind. And by this time, then I'm writing down ideas based off of how the game is playing and getting a feel for it. So it's interesting. I wonder if I could actually give a terminology for this in the future as I'm talking about this. In film, it's called spotting, but it's not game spotting necessarily. And I spoke about this recently before, and I just correlated it to be more like a game whisperer, because I'm feeling the tempo and the pace of what the game is, and then I'm conceptualizing what the sound world is in my mind, and I have to make this orally presentable for the project as well as the other team members.
Yeah, I think I'm fascinated by this because I'm always interested as to. So, do you ever get to see the game to actually play the game without? So you get to see it really, really early on, or not necessarily.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Because I typically also, especially if I'm writing dynamic, adaptive, or interactive music, which is music, 3 different terms. So adaptive is based off of what the player is. The world is adapting to what the player is doing. Interactive is what's happening when the player is doing certain things with the mechanics, and dynamic is entering different parts of mechanical things that the player is enacting to. So when I'm designing that type of music, I'm implementing it within the engine, and that means I need to have the game access to it as well. Typically in the field, it's called being an asset cannon. I'm not really a fan of that, where I just kind of write it and throw it to the programmer and they have to do it. And in this day and age, most composers are actually held to the standard to be able to work in something called audio middleware, which is Wise or Fmod or Elias or Fabric or Cryware, Miles Sound System. There's 10 of them. I'm not going to go through them all, but there's about 5 for you. So I have to. I'm a composer, but I'm also, it's called a technical music designer, which is I'm creating dynamic music tracks for the player to enact with those either mechanics or whatever's happening within the world. So it'd be imperative for me to have access to that if I can.
So that is super cool. So let's say like a character interacts with something and the music has to like crescendo and do something to it. Does it like crossfade into another piece of music? So
it typically would crossfade into, it will either be a stinger, which is something that just is an oral alert for the player to know something is happening, and then crossfade into another section of the music. And it's kind of on screen here, but I wrote an article about this, of how I did it in Cubase, because in Cubase, I figured out how to pre-design this before testing it in the engine, and using something in Cubase or Nuendo called the arranger track. And the arranger track is typically, from what my mentor Ken Jakobsen had taught me, was that it's could be used for like commercial cut downs, so 15-second spots, 30-second spots, and minute spots. But I learned how to do it in musical form, which is through compose form. So we have, our binary form of music, our ternary form of music, and our ABA form, and so on and so forth. But the through compose form allows me to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I want D to go to H, and I want H to go to A, and I want B to go to F. And no matter how I design, if I wrote it in a vertical and horizontal form within the block of the A form or the B form or the C form, whatever it jumps to in Cubase, it will be seamless. And that's how I learned to test it. And so in that magazine, it was the first video game article written in 20 years about video game music that I actually was able to do and figure out. I had no idea. It was just pure experimentation on my part.
That's amazing. It's one of those things. It's so much more. There's so much more complexity than you sort of think, because it's it's not dissimilar to a film where the music has to hit certain key points and certain transitions have to happen. And I guess the difference is in video games to films, the director knows what's coming next in the film because he's cut the film. In a video game, the gamer's deciding a lot of the time what happens next. So,
right,
yeah, really interesting.
I'm typically always writing for ambiguity. So I'm thinking about only a certain amount of things that the game is already pre-designed and programmed to do that we expect the player to enact with. A small example was that in the game Aground 0, which just came out in April, I figured out a mechanic that will tie dynamically to the music. And so it's the first in the colony sim form of those type of games where the music will seamlessly change when you switch an item. And that hasn't been done in those type of games before. And I kept that, instead of just writing for the area, I just made it interesting to tie to an actual game mechanic that is still part of the progression, but is subtle enough where the player doesn't notice and doesn't feel monotonous for them either.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sounds like you have to be a real problem solver to
or a good,
to do
or
this.
a good game player.
Or a good game player, yeah.
Like me. Like I said, I've been playing since I was 6 years old. So it's a lot of games underneath my belt that I understand game design.
So I got two questions. So what is your favorite genre of video game to play and favorite genre of video game to write music for?
Okay, I can answer the first, but not the second. The first is single player adventure games. I think they just, I don't know why, I just like them. But I don't have a favorite type of genre of game to write for because I'm not done. And I haven't written for every genre yet to even be able to answer the question.
Still more to come.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, what was your favorite project to date, if you can say so, if you can say that? Or is that
or the one you think has come out that you're sort of most proud of, the one that's come out the best?
It hasn't really been done, I think, yet.
Oh, okay.
There's a perfectionist speaking right there.
Yeah.
Actually, it's more of a, like I said earlier, I'm not finished with my career. So someone else asked me the question earlier, I think last week, and I said, I can't answer that because my career isn't over. I really don't know what I'm most proud of because it's not like, even though I've shipped over 30 games now in the 14-year span of my career, I don't know what's coming to look back at the entire catalog of work to say that's the one. I'm actually, to be conspicuous, I'm proud of it all because it's a miracle that any game ships in this day and age.
Well, that's also true too.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
I mean, you only have to. I was watching the Battlefield 6 trailer the other day that's just coming out, and the audio on the trailer is, I mean, it's insane. The amount of detail that they put into even just trailers is immense.
They're downright movie trailers.
Yeah.
They're cinematic. Like, it's incredible. I was watching.
And that's just the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I was watching the trailer for the Last of Us video game because me and my infinite time of free time, I'd like to play that game. But I bought it and I haven't yet played it. So, I watched the trailer. I'm like, hey, this is fun. This is cool. I like it.
Have you seen the show?
I have. It's a great show. Love that show.
And the Battlefield 6 trailer, like, I also found out that they have a setting. They've had it before, but it's called War Tapes, and if you click on that, the audio is just insane. Well, now they've got a step up from that. And so like the audio is supposed to just like make you feel like you're really in a war, and like,
wow.
If I download that game, that's what I'm going to first.
Yeah. They get rid of all the dynamic range and they distort all the top end, so it just sounds like you're on a battlefield.
Like a radio headset in your helmet kind of thing.
Yeah, and explosions are just, So yeah, it's game audio is definitely. I mean, we've talked about it before on the show, but it's so much more than sort of like most people give it credit for. I mean, I'm 52 this year, and I've been gaming since I was 14. Still gaming. Still play games regularly. For all those old people out there, keep gaming. You're never too old to be gaming. Always makes me laugh when I see on Twitter somebody puts, shout out if you're still gaming and you were born in 19 star, and I'm like, there must be loads of people. Well, not everyone was born in 2000,
Yeah.
Well, Ben, isn't that a gaming chair behind you?
It is a gaming chair
that you're sitting in, not behind you. That you're sitting in,
and
no,
it's not going to work.
Don't you race?
Yeah,
like, with a
part of a sim racing
wheel?
community. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, my
Forza
just sat over there. So, no, so iRacing typically.
Okay, nice.
I'm part of a community. We race every Thursday online. Yeah, it's good fun.
Cool.
Anyway, music. That's what we were here to talk about. Well, no, gaming. See, that's what we were here to talk about, wasn't it?
So, Chase, tell us about the 2 awards that you won for working on Aground. Since you say that, you don't have a favorite project or the one that's most important to you, but you seem to have been awarded for your work. So tell us about that and how you got those awards.
Sure. So I won Best Original Soundtrack for the game Aground 0 by the Nix Award. It's my second gold award through the organization. And then I guess exclusive for you, I haven't announced this yet, and I will be announcing it soon. But here's the first announcement is that I won Platinum winner for the Aground 0 soundtrack via the, thank you, Architecture and Design organization.
Wow.
That's
amazing.
Fantastic.
Well done, man.
Thank you. Yeah, goosebumps there. I'm like, man, I've said that out loud. Platinum. That's the highest achievement.
That's really impressive.
And see, that's something that you could be proud of so far.
Yeah,
I know you've got some other things that you'll be proud of something later on in the future, but you could be proud of what you've done right now.
Down the road that you can be proud of. But I think those 2 awards and this new one are something to be damn proud of at this point in your life, up to now. Yeah, and I think you can say that with confidence.
Yeah, and you've got to celebrate the wins along the way. There's no point waiting to look back when you've finished your career. You've got to celebrate the wins as you go, man.
It's all about the journey.
Person.
It's all about the journey.
True. I bought myself a cupcake when I found out about the gold award, and then I took myself to dinner when I actually got it. But yeah, and so I'll probably do the same when I officially have the platinum award. It should be coming this month, so that's
nice.
Be an announcement there for that. So,
See,
you're absolutely right.
You bought yourself a cupcake. I would have bought myself like an 1176 or something like that.
Nate doesn't need any excuse to buy himself new studio stuff.
This gear that's been sitting in my wish list, I'll go ahead and buy that now.
Definitely. I mean, Nate bought himself a tape machine not long ago.
Exactly.
Why not?
I'm not getting any younger. So
nor the tape machine.
Won it this long.
And the tape machine's not going to get any more younger. I don't know.
No.
He's trying to figure out the phrases. What are words?
Well, that's cool. So congratulations on those 2 gold awards. Thank you. For this new one that's coming up. That is really awesome and incredible.
Thank you.
So it'll be cool to watch you sort of progress in the coming years, because I have a feeling this will not be your last one.
No.
Thank you. I'm sure going for the Grammy this year.
Yeah, good man.
Yeah.
What do you when you're composing for games? What do you usually start composing on? Do you play piano? Is that the sort of starting point? How's your composing
process
work?
Dang. You got me. I have this whole list because it's 20 steps I could pull it up if you really want to know what the process is, because I get this question often, and then when I get to ask, I can't pull it on my mind. And I've also haven't it written for some months now, so I almost forgot. What is the process like? Because it changes per project. But if you want, I can definitely pull it up, and I can share if you really want to know. If you want me to just riff it, then I can just riff it.
Yeah, just riff it.
Just riff it.
Yeah,
wicked.
That's what we do.
I'm
This
gonna go off of
podcast
what
is just a bunch of riffs.
Yeah.
I'm going to go off of what I remember. So believe it or not, the most important thing is naming the file of the project first. So that is part of the process. And the reason is because I do not want to go back later, especially because I had this issue today with the software not acting right, and you have to rename something it doesn't want to open. And you can tell I have a little bit of experience with this.
Yeah.
So naming it, deciding on the name of what the piece is going to be first is number one. And actually, this is also tied to it links to what the mechanic or what the process of the game music is supposed to do within the game. So it encompasses three things and it takes care of all of that. It depends on the feeling that I have that day. And as creatives, I'm sure you know how this is. I'm looking at this piano. So I started on alto saxophone as my first instrument, but then I went to piano and I got classically trained and then also moved back into jazz. But I'm born and raised in Chicago, so I have a jazz ear and really good with transcription. So I don't know typically what the process is going to be for the project all the time. Sometimes it's just improvising. Sometimes it is picking up an instrument, because I'm looking at this MIDI keyboard and that doesn't do it for me. Playing the actual instrument itself, piano, there's a actual physical connection spiritually too that happens with that instrument. So I have a guitar, maybe something might happen out of that. I have a harmonica, maybe I'll do that. I have a toy chest of instruments, I might have to pull those out because I have to tap into the childhood creativity of just pure imagination and freedom, that I'm not thinking about, okay, this project and there's a milestone, there's a deadline, but just being free with your toys and just playing with them and just thinking about what works and what sounds good. And then if I end up coming up with something that I've played with that's tangible, I have to record it. And then the recording process starts and happens from there. If it's just on the piano and the MIDI keyboard, then I'm going through different virtual instruments, figuring out a sound palette, which is also important. Typically, I would do that for sure. Build what the sound palette is going to be based off of what the type of game it's asking for, and then try to see if something catches my ear that I like or that I'm feeling. And I typically try to write at least one bar. And then I also think about writing 4 measures after the 1 bar, because I have to finish the thought of at least some kind of motif or a counter melody that would happen. And I know if I could write 4 bars, then I try to write 8. And that means that I at least have a full phrase or motif. And then if I'm feeling it more and it's past 15 minutes and I'm in the flow, then I'll go further from there. And typically I would finish a track in a day or I'll finish a track in a month. It all depends.
Wow. Okay. Well, I have 2 questions to follow up with that.
Okay.
One, they're related to each other, and the first one is related to what you just talked about. So with your ideas, when you are beginning a project and you've received, your instruction, your outline and whatnot from the video game designers and whomever, are you coming up with ideas right there based on the descriptions of the scenes and the characters and whatnot? Are you coming up with your ideas right then and there, or are you drawing from a bank of ideas that you might, sit down at the piano one night after dinner and play something like, well, that's a cool, idea. We'll log that away and do you pick that up for a video game as a starting point? And then the other question is, sorry, you mentioned that you're kind of in a break right now. So do you make your own music just for fun and release it and, do anything like that? Or are you just making music for video games?
I can answer the first one. I can answer the latter question first, because it's actually just on the top of my mind. I'm not releasing anything from myself. I'm really just having a proper break so that when the proper project comes around, I'm really fresh, and it's like a nice reset button for me.
Yeah.
And also, I'm not really inspired right now either, so that's kind of in the flux of it too. In answer to the first question, it's an amalgamation of both. So like I was saying before, typically when I have that game design document, if I have that prototype, I can kind of get an idea of what's happening here. And then if I start to, everything about the process and the naming typically happens up here, but I know I have the physical work of typing and putting the spreadsheet, or was just an audio assetless sheet to get this in, is really the tough work, because it's already happened up here so quickly. I have to slow it down and then type at 75 words per minute and get that out as quick as I can and do what I need to do. And then the other tough part is building the sound palette. So I'm already thinking of my virtual instruments that I have typically to kind of get the creative juices flowing as quick as possible, because I'm trying to get to the 4 measures as fast as I can. But I don't, most composers always have like templates, but I figured out that, well, I'm not always writing orchestral music. And so templates only work based off of their project that you have within the game that it's supposed to be connected to. So I have to start from scratch every time. And I don't mind that because it strengthens the template of what I need to do. So I'm thinking of, again, rapidly, what are the VSTs that I know for sure are going to get the creative idea I need down within the 4 measures so that I don't lose it. If it passes and I don't have that energy, or I don't have that creative flow, then I resort to something that I already had, and I have a bunch of like dream melodies, and then I can go back and resource those. Or it might already have happened when I was playing the game. I was thinking, oh yeah, this will work because I already recorded this. I just need to adapt it. It's not used, and I can build upon and expand that. That saves a lot of the palette stuff that I have to build, because I only have to just kind of do it in a piano, and I'll figure everything else out.
Do you ever go back to a project maybe after it's been released and you hear something and you're like, oh, I have a way better idea now. I wish I had done that instead of this. Does that ever happen?
Dang, no. But I'm really glad you asked that question, because I guess Ben said earlier, he's like a perfectionism talking though, but I left perfectionism 10 years ago. Because otherwise, nothing would ship, and I would probably be fired, and we wouldn't have this conversation. It would be interesting.
I think that's a really important point.
It's true.
Perfectionism is every single musician's worst enemy. You cannot work on a project until you think it's perfect. I mean, that's not how music works,
But I know when it's good, and I know when it's done.
Yeah, know when it's done. That is the statement. Nate and I always joke that a mix is never finished; it's just abandoned.
Yeah.
And but it's not. It's knowing when you go, okay, that's done. You could just sit there for days going over it. It's just this feeling that you have. You're like, this is done. Like, I cannot do anything more to this, and I'm going into negative territory if I keep going. Right? Like I'm going backwards if I keep going forward. So
yeah. See, I went to audio engineering school as well. I graduated from Los Angeles Recording School, which when I was graduating, it was bought by Full Sail. So I guess I'm a Full Sail graduate. I don't know. But they teach you these things during that time. And so I learned all these foundations at an early age for that to go forward with, and then built upon that going forward, because I knew I was having that issue with trying to finish stuff and making it right. But I realized, no, nothing's going to get put out there, and I'm holding art from the world if I don't just say this is done. And I know, my ears know now. And like I said, I left that go 10 years ago. And ever since then, it's been very peaceful and solid to just be confident in the work that I put forth.
Good for you. That is amazing to have that confidence and ability, because that is not something that everybody has. Even myself included. I find myself, being but I can do one more thing and make it a little bit better, right?
The awards are saying that you're getting it right, though. So whatever your gut's telling you it's done, it's probably a good.
The proof is on your mantle. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of discipline. It's a lot of mental work, but it can be done.
That's great. That's really great.
So So I was going to ask. I've got questions about
Please.
games because I'm a big gaming fan. I love games, and clearly you're a big gaming fan as well. I think that the audio in games today, like not just playing audio, but the music that goes with it, is massively more than it was probably even 10 years ago. Is that something you've seen in the industry, that the emphasis on the audio in games has become greater in the last sort of 10 years?
Yes and no. I think that it is been bumped in terms of acknowledgement by 2 notches. 2 dBs, since we're sound discussion. And the reason I say this is because I can tell that it's most people really just get this feeling about doing what's popular, but are still afraid to do something unique. And then I come around and I do something that no one can place anywhere, and I love it, and I want more of that, but they won't do more of that. And then I get acknowledged for it, and then it becomes this, well, we don't really know, like there's this ambiguity that comes about. So we're just going to do what's safe, what we did before for the past decade or more, and we're going to do these styles, but we still don't really want to pay for it. Yeah. So that's how I'm kind of answering the question, thinking like they want to do more, but they don't want to pay for it, and they don't want to do anything different either. So it ends up being the same thing that we've already heard a lot of times.
Yeah, risk averse. So do you get to play around a lot with like different time signatures and that sort of thing, or is the audio you do? Oh, cool. I didn't know if.
Aground has. So I started that with the Project Reality, and it was doing 5/4, and then it was doing 7/4, and then actually before that was already experimenting with this, but it actually got into a game, and then Aground has a lot of that. In fact, no one has been able. Oh, excuse me. One person has been able to figure out a time signature in that soundtrack that hasn't been written in game music ever. I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to go Guinness Book of World Records on that. And I'm not going to tell what it is, but I'll tell you the track. And it's Nelia Amui Ambar, which is an Elvish of something that's happening within the game. That means it's attributed to something that's happening in the game way later. And I experiment with those time signatures because it's kind of I'm a big music theory nerd. So I just like it. My ear appreciates it, and it wasn't enough of that in game music. It's the same 4/4, it's the same 3/4, it's the same 6/8. I'm thinking, hello, we got 7/4, we got 7/8, we got 3/8, we got these other time signatures, 5/4, 5/2, whatever you want. Why don't we just do that? I even did mixed meters in time, so I'm switching between time signatures, and I'm doing that in a soundtrack that's going to hopefully be out. I did it already in Reality. And then I do it again in another visual novel, which Reality was a visual novel, but another visual novel RPG, which is called Starday and the School for Witches. And that has even more time signature stuff going on in there.
That's really cool.
Because I bet like different time signatures and odd time signatures and things like that would give more tension and more just like uneasiness in a scene.
Yes.
And like instead of the normal 4/4/4, it's something just like, oh my gosh, there's some anticipation, but you don't know what's coming, and it's like
right.
So I could definitely see that being used in video games.
Yeah, that's really cool, because I thought you were going to say, oh no, that because of the way big corporates, putting out a computer game, it's all got to be sort of fairly standard to fit a nice easy model for people. But that's brilliant if they let you sort of go to town on time signatures and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, some Japanese composers have done this. The one that has always caught my ear, maybe some of you guys may catch this too, may not have known, but Shimamura-san, did a really cool time signature. I think it's in like 7. It switches between, it's a mixed meter actually, so I think it's 7/4, and then moves into a different time signature for Street Fighter 2 Sagat's theme. And you can instantly hear it if you know that theme. I'm not going to sing it because my voice isn't warmed up.
But I'll definitely check it out though. I remember playing Street Fighter back in the day, so
yeah,
I'll have heard it.
Tim Follin, who's a British composer, and his brother Jeff, rest in peace, was brother who just passed away recently. But Tim Follin and Jeff Follin are masters at that. Oh my God! If you play Plock, time signature changes all day. The beach theme, go listen to the beach theme. That beach, oh my goodness. It's incredible. It's so good. They go from 5/4 to 4/4 with the video game music of that time only be written in tracker music. And tracker music wasn't written in a hexadecimal system form. And so that means it's all code. So they have to sample certain parts of waveforms of like snares or other things or something from synthesizers, then put it in this computer software and do these hexadecimal codes for the music to play orally back to you. Steinberg didn't make Cubase until 1987. So before then, that's how game music was written.
Wow.
That's
crazy.
Holy
computer programmer
smokes.
Musicians.
Yeah, you're really a computer programmer.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yes.
I did not know
because that was how it talked to the chipset that could work with that time. So some of composers were still writing things out, but some of them had to have implementers. But I told myself about 7 trackers thus far, because I had decided when I become a video game composer, I'm going to learn every style and every era that existed. So that was the goal. And so I learned all of these techniques and how they did it before, which is how it was made. And to see the masterful things that they did just with those limitations is why we got those good soundtracks at that time. And that's why I was pushing forward in this area of different time signatures, if you're listening, and things of projects that I did to kind of continue the legacy onward in a different form and fashion with different textures and different moods and different flares to keep the player engaged.
Amazing. It's really cool.
Wow.
I'm going to listen to game music much more carefully now. And instead of going into the menu and going music volume and turning it all the way down, and then I'll make sure I leave it on.
Nate took the theme out, but it's to his own soundtracks, which is cool. But yeah, you turn it down. But see, that's why I did dynamic music for the item things as well. So you can't turn it off if it's tied to mechanics, because you'll be missing the story beat that's going on. Yeah. And you might get stuck. Well, what? This game is stupid. Well, I was like, You turn the music back up and you might understand what you need to do next.
Yeah, Ben, I only do that on like stupid mobile games that are like Candy Crush and stupid kids.
Someone's still getting
that. I did dynamic music design for some mobile games too. In fact, I pushed
depends on the mobile
this
game,
audioware. Yeah, because it was needed in that space, because it was the same old it gets boring, right? And so I understand the monotony that, because I'm a player first. I play first and then I'm writing music. Yeah. So I understand what the plight is going to be, that the player doesn't want to hear that. They want to be engaged. They want to be involved. It's interactive after all. And so when I was working with something called audio middleware, like was mentioned FMod Wise and Elias, when I was working with Elias, was saying, wait, what? You guys are composers and you want to use a programmer, but it's made for composers and you didn't put mixed meter or different time signatures that can mess with this? So I figured out how to circumvent that, even though they didn't have it, just to get it done. And then there's one game that shipped. It's only in New Zealand. It's called Potion Please, where I created a dynamic music soundtrack for that game.
Amazing. It's so cool. It's a really interesting topic. I've got to be honest. It's like, whenever we speak to people like yourself or John, who does films and, all that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a whole different side to music that's, I find it really interesting, how it all goes together and how it all works.
I think what's really evident here is the passion that you have for what you do.
Yeah, for sure.
You're not just saying like, yeah, I make music for video games. So what? Not you are like, it's clearly evident that you love what you do, and you've known that for a really long time, and so you've put all your chips in. So
yeah, I have. There's no pulling away now.
Yeah. No, and that's really great, and it's evident, and it's showing, and it's going to be really exciting to see not only what happens next in the larger space of music in video games, but watching you and your journey forward to see what happens next. So that's really cool. I know we gotta wrap things up here, so we'll ask a couple of sort of last questions to close this out. You've already hinted at this. You've stated that you use Cubase as your DAW. Is there any other software that you use that aids in the creation of your music? Like what's like a good VST that you always start with, or maybe a plugin that you're always going back to, or some sort of effect? Like what's your favorite?
What's your
mainstay?
sound?
Yeah.
Well, what's coming to my mind right now are two synths, and they are Spire by Reveal Sound and Silent by Leonard Digital. So those you can definitely find in some form or fashion across the 15 soundtracks that I've done. I've used them at least once. And dang, I'm kind of giving this away because it's going to be another Recording Magazine issue. But yeah, exclusives. I like it. So the plugin that I typically, one I've been using for many years, and that I like to often put within the chain is Track Plug. And the other one, Track Plug is by Wave Arts. And the other one that I really, really enjoy is the Black Box HG2.
From Plugin Alliance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you like that so much? What does that do for you?
As a sonic character that really doesn't need much, which is when we're mixing engineers, we know less is more. Mm-hmm. And that fits the bill for every style of music, of game music that I've written thus far, every single time. It just works on everything. And I don't have to push it ever past 50. Because it starts at like half. You never, past 53. So I should say.
Yeah.
Ever, never, nothing. Just something about the design. And obviously, if you have the hardware version, it's probably even more incredible. Actually, it is. I've heard it. But yeah, it's just really fits into the mix and rounds it out really nice.
That's cool. I love that. Yeah, okay. Awesome.
Yeah, I love those kind of plugins that you just, when you pull them up, you go, this is gonna work. I know what this is gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like those.
That's great. Well, there's one other question, Neil. I believe that you like to ask this question. So
I do. I like to ask this question. Have you ever been in a band? And if so, what was the name of your first band?
I've never been in a band.
Oh.
Well, there we go. If you were to start a band or be in a band, what would that look like?
Well, that's interesting as I'm going to be doing more live performances of my work and hopefully doing the Aground tour. So,
you need a stage name or some sort of also known as.
AKA. I don't know about that yet. So it could probably be, I'm just for fun right now on the spot, be like Chase Bethea and the Agroundians.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah,
that works.
I like it.
Yeah, that's still not. That's way away from the worst band name we've heard on this segment.
Yeah, that's still better than most band names.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah, you're all good there.
Nice. Well, Chase, thank you so much for joining us today on this episode of Sound Discussion. We really appreciate you being with us and fitting us into your busy schedule. I see that you have an issue of Recording Magazine behind you, and you mentioned that there's a forthcoming article that you are writing or are being in.
It's done.
So
yeah, it's coming out soon.
Okay, great. Yeah. So a forthcoming article in Recording Magazine coming soon. How else can people find you if they want to find out more about you?
Sure. You can go to www.chase, Chase like the bank, Bethea, B as in boy, E as in Eric, T as in Tom, H as in Harry, E as in Eric, A as in Apple, chasebethea.com. You can find me there. I also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/Chase Bethea. And then I have I call it like it's called Pro Player Perspective, but just certain opinions about things in the industry. And it's on my patreon.com/Chase Bethea. You want to see the insides of some of the things I think about or that I actually navigate through before my book comes out this next year.
Amazing.
We'll
make sure we put them all in the show notes and let everyone know.
Yeah, we'll link to all of those.
Ben, Neil, and Nate for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. It's an honor, honestly. So thank you.
It's totally our pleasure. It's been absolutely fascinating.
This is wonderful. Brilliant. And we can't wait to follow up with you in the future and kind of see where you are in your journey down the road. And if there's ever anything to talk about, we'll have you back on.
Send us some pictures with your awards. We'll
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay. I will. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And we'll talk to you soon, Chase.
Thanks, Chase. Have a great day.
Thank you. Take care.
Cheers.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Sound Discussion. Your hosts are Ben Holmes, Neil Merchant, and me, Nate Kelms. Our theme song is composed and recorded by Jojo Timmerman. You can find us on the internet at sounddiscussionpodcast.com, or you can drop us a line at sounddiscussionpodcast@gmail.com. Additional show notes for this episode can be found on our website or in the description area of your podcast player. A big thank you to our guest for taking the time to chat with us today, and to you, the listener, for taking time out of your busy schedule to be part of our discussion. We look forward to having you join us again next month on another episode of Sound Discussion.
Wait, I love music. I've been playing games all my life. You can do this for real professionally?